folks, welcome back to BEG Wrestling. We are here, and we have a ton to talk about this week. I'll tell you that right now. First of all, let me introduce our producer, Jamie, on, I guess, what, your third week now?
This is my second week, and let me tell you, after some serious training, I think you're going to be satisfied with the improvements. So...
Well, you showed up late today, so we're already going to have a discussion after the show, I can tell you right now. But co-host Kevin, Kevin has a ton of facts. Kevin, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
He's ready. He's not ready yet. I just threw him a curveball. He's not happy right now. But, folks, before we do, I want to say just a couple updates on the show. Obviously, we're moving it back to 6 p.m., Jamie. And call-ins are being held till 6:15 because Kevin has a lot of facts and good info to get through first and foremost. So that's what we're going to do. Before I throw it to Kevin, I just want to summarize. Basically, I spent the last 4 days, Monday through Thursday, up at Spooky Nook up in Mannheim, PA. It's like Lancaster, Amish country. Incredible. Absolutely honored to have an invitation. I mean, I don't even know where to start. Exclusive invitation, by the way. But I don't even know where to start, dude. First of all, Spooky Nook, unbelievable facility. That's where we're going to have our BEG dual meets in the future. But I met so many wrestlers, coaches, and my overall first thoughts, just I did not meet a single bad person, dude. It was impressive. And it was impressive the level of intelligence and intellect some of these young kids had, like Bo Bassett, Kennedy Blades. I meet Allure. Say it right, folks. Learn how to say it. Okay? I redeem myself. Her interview's out now. I make a fool out of myself. However, in the simulation post-match interviews, I redeem myself. But dude, incredibly mature, incredibly intellectual. I mean, I could go on and on. I mean, I'll eventually touch on everyone, but so the ones that are out now, Sarah Hildebrand, dude, when you talk to her, it literally uplifts your spirits. It's like you just want to keep talking to her. Dom Parrish, actually, I mean, that's the same for Dom Parrish, Kayla Miracle, even I met and Kennedy Blades. I mean, by the end of that, I felt like I could have just kept talking to him forever. Out today is Mason Parris and Bo Bassett. Mason Parris, our 125 kilogram representative, and Bo Bassett, basically, some would argue the most popular young youth wrestler in America right now. He was a top 5 finalist in Sports Illustrated Kids Kids Athlete of the Year or something. I can't even remember exactly, but the interview is out now. I just put it out like an hour ago. I've literally been working nonstop between trying to get interviews and trying to edit them and put them out since Sunday we started our pre-recorded episode. But so many things to touch on. But Kevin, let me throw it to you, man, because before I'll touch on that periodically as we go through this. But let's throw it to you, man, because we're on a time limit and you have a lot of stuff to talk about. Let's first touch on there's an NCAA settlement regarding the NIL changes. Let's hear the facts.
Yeah, this is a pretty substantial event that's taking place here. I mean, this could change the landscape of NCAA's period. I mean, first of all, they're going to be awarding $2.8 billion to athletes from 2016 to 2020. So it's backdated.
$2.8 billion backdated.
Yeah, $2.8 billion. And it comes out to be about, they said 10,000 athletes. So, I mean, that's crazy. I'm sorry, 2.7 billion. So it comes out to be, if you do the math on that, it's like $270,000. Now, it's not going to be distributed evenly. It's going to be, depending on, your markability and all that stuff. So I'm sure football and basketball players are going to get more. But the thing they do have to be careful about is Title IX. They can't be giving more funds to the guys than they are the girls. So I think they still have a lot of things they have to iron out, but still, this is a big deal because now colleges are going to be able to actually share revenue with players and pay them as well. And it really opens the doors for it really opens the doors for it to be a professional league rather than a college league, to be honest with you. And the scholarships are not capped. They're saying they're not going to be capped anymore. So instead of having 9 scholarships per team, there's going to be unlimited scholarships, which it's kind of mind blowing. So yeah, there's a lot to digest with this. I'm sure that it's hard to find someone that can like describe it in layman's terms because
that was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
EJ Newton said we were having some weird feedback. Are we getting any?
He said not happening now. Do we sound?
Folks, if we are, please go in the chat and then join us shortly live by calling in. Link below. But Kevin, go ahead.
Yeah.
Unlimited scholarships.
Yeah, unlimited scholarships, and it is 2.7 billion, which they're going to distribute over a 10-year period. And the thing they're having problems with right now is the 5 major conferences are the ones that kind of dictate everything, and then there's the 22 others, and the 5 major conferences got together and they wanted them to pay only 40%, while the other 22 paid 60. But the other 22 conferences aren't really in agreement to that because they're saying, we don't even really do a whole lot of NIL. We don't really do much of this at all. Why are we going to be paying more? But ultimately, what the NCAA is trying to do is they're trying to settle the lawsuits that they have. They have 3 major lawsuits going against them right now to try and settle those, but they're also trying to make it so they don't have any future lawsuits against them, which that's not going to happen. So, yeah, it's.
But you're saying we do not understand in layman terms how this money is going to be exactly distributed.
No, because they really haven't specified that. They said that they can distribute it $20 million per year for all the players, each college. But that doesn't really tell us a whole lot. So it seems like we have more questions than we have information with what they've given us so far.
Well, just real quick, Emmett says, hot take, Zane Rutherford is the second best folk style wrestler of all time behind Carl. Thoughts on that?
Behind Kale. Well, we'll get into that. But before we do, let's finish our thoughts here on this NIL settlement. So this is unlimited scholarships here going forward. The repercussions on that, who does that benefit? I would imagine the rich get richer, right?
Yeah.
Kevin?
Right. Yeah. At the same time, it seems like, with NIL, it just seems like it doesn't. If this would have happened before NIL, where they didn't cap the scholarships, that would be a much bigger deal, I think. But the way NIL is right now, it seems that it might not even really be that relevant, to be honest with you. Just because, if anything, it means the colleges can pay more. But the thing I don't understand is that up to the colleges or what? You know what I mean? Like how many scholarships they have. It just seems like it's going to be everything uneven.
Kevin, I think something's happening maybe because you don't have headphones on, that every time Zach's talking, they're getting something's messed up with the sound.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Wonderful.
If you have headphones, plug them in, Kevin.
Let me try and take the microphone right off, see if that helps.
But that money, $2.7 billion, let me clarify, was from 2016 to 2020 athletes. But I believe, obviously, there's going to be money that's paying forward. I missed that, but I missed the details of that. But along with that, look at that. Did we lose Kevin, Jamie, or is he?
Kevin.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, we got you.
He was hoping you would chime in because he was
Oh,
out of thoughts.
while we hang on. All right, while we wait for Kevin, folks, I have some new props. I just kind of want to go over. So first and foremost, Mr. Sean Bourmet, this will be mailed out to you this week, sir. And this thing is nice.
Wow.
There's my Tom Brands mug. I need hot coffee in it for it to actually be effective. USA Wrestling poker chips, a plaque. But here's the coolest thing. Someone purchased these, by the way. They're going to surprise their wife.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
That's the first.
Undies.
I mean, are you kidding me, dude? That is impressive. Okay. I won't say who. They're not from Pennsylvania, though, surprisingly. Can you believe that?
I'm sure the wife will be really excited for that one.
Okay. EJ says sound is all good now.
Yes, we're good.
We're perfect. So,
Awesome.
Kevin, go ahead and proceed, man.
Well, that's pretty much, all I got as far as that topic goes.
All right, next topic.
Yeah.
What do you got? Oklahoma State or
Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting looking as far as Oklahoma State goes because, big news, they got Hendrickson at heavyweight now, and then Cam Amin comes over, which kind of surprised everybody.
which I apologize. I got incorrect on our Tuesday episode. I don't know what I mean, it was a late night that
it happens,
night, folks.
man.
And I must have saw an old Twitter post or something. And translation at midnight, Monday night. Apologies.
Twitter's crazy,
We're gonna make mistakes. We're gonna make mistakes, but we will strive. And let me tell you something else. After this week, we're gonna probably be making a lot less mistakes. Okay, I got a lot of connections. In fact, anything. I know everything. Ask me any question, I know it all. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Well,
But I do have some new connections.
You do that, man. So the big question I think everybody had was, all right, so now, he's bringing in 3 165 pounders. Now, Hamidi, he's going up to 174. That's pretty much a done deal. But then you got Amin and Fish, who are at 165. Now, some people have speculated that Fish could go down to 157. I just don't see how that's possible. I don't see how he could make 157. So what I think is going to happen is that he's going to take a red shirt because he has a red shirt to take. So I think that, he takes a red shirt because you have Teague Travis at 57. Then you'll have Amin at 65, Hamidi at 74, and then Plot, NCAA finalist. And then can Christian Carroll make 197? That's going to be interesting because when he was, people get confused. They think, because someone makes 97 kilograms that they can make 197, but it's completely different. It's like a 16-pound difference. So if he looked like he was cut down, pretty good when he was 97, but if he can make 197, man, he's going to be, as long as he's, not, health-wise, he's okay. He could be a bear at 197, and then you got Hendrickson at 285. So it's, man,
talk about the David Taylor
really
effect, just coming in hard and fast, dude. Just a couple weeks ago, I said the beginning of the end for Penn State, and my dad got a little angry at me because he said, "Dude, don't put out clickbait." And I said, "That's not clickbait, dude. This might be." And wow, this is happening. Things are changing rapidly.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, their team is solid. It was young last year, and it was really good. If you think about it, they were right up. They had, not the best NCAA performance, but they were right up at the top, dual meet wise. They had a lot of sophomores on their team, but they're set in a really good situation. And I think that next year they're definitely going to be. I don't see them, beating Penn State, but
Yeah,
they're
but
still going to be
that
a solid
timeline
team.
might have been moved down from 3 years to 2.
They do also, though. Another thing you got to think about is the heavy weights. They are, the midweights to heavyweights. A lot of seniors. You got Fish will be, if he redshirts, he'll be a senior next year. But Dustin Plott's a senior, Hamidi's a senior, Hendrickson's a senior. Christian Carroll's young, but I'm interested to see how their recruiting goes. If they really hit the recruiting hard, or if they go ahead and try and get some more transfers next year to fill those voids.
They're going to do both.
But they also have Braden Thompson, that is he's a stud, young guy. He'll probably be I think he redshirted last year, so he'll probably just have to sit this year behind Plott. But next year he'll definitely be solid. So it seems like they're doing all the right things so far.
I can guarantee you they're going to pick up a ton of new recruits and a ton of transfers. So this is just the beginning of a tidal wave. Okay, or what would be a cool cowboy synonym or acronym or
we're not sure where you're going with that.
Yeah.
We're live, folks.
Who wouldn't want to, it almost seems like if you're not going to wrestle for Cal, I don't want to say it's the next best thing, but I mean, you got to figure they're going to have that same kind of style, and they're going to, be doing the same kind of things. I'm sure he's going to tailor it to his, no pun intended, to his own, his own system. But you got to figure that there's going to be a lot of people that find it very appealing to go and with that coaching staff and that program.
Yeah, but we're obviously getting to see a clear picture of what their lineup's going to look like this year. I agree with you in the sense that they're not going to be, Penn State's going to win again this year, barring some injuries or something. But how about Ramos going to Iowa? We haven't mentioned that, have we?
Parco there?
Or Parco.
Yeah. No, that's, that kind of, it didn't surprise me because it was being mentioned a lot, but I will say this, Iowa wasn't desperately in need of a 149-pounder. At the same time, it makes their team better. I mean, he's a 4-time All-American. It's kind of an interesting story. He started out at Fresno State as a freshman, and it was the last year of their program. So he was battling out for a roster spot his freshman year. He ended up getting it, ended up placing at Nationals, becoming an All-American. Then they canceled their program. He shoots over to Arizona State, wrestles with them for the other 3 years, and then starting 3 years, and now he's shooting over to Iowa for his final year. But you got to figure, he'll be the 149-pounder. That's what he's been his whole career. But I'm just curious to see in Iowa how they're going to handle. It seems like Iowa, they're real tight there. Like when AJ was coming in. I know AJ is a different animal, but he was coming there. They didn't really seem to take kindly to the Ferraris, taking spots from their guys possibly. So I'm wondering how they're going to be with Parco. I mean, they were great with Woods, so we'll see.
Well, we talk about, first of all, Ramos. Wow, at least we got it right, Kevin. That's why, you're doing your job here, aren't you? Ramos would have been something, wouldn't it have been? My goodness.
I thought I missed something, though. I was like, oh, man. Well, that and Nelson Brands coming back.
Nelson Brands is also back, yes. Which,
yep.
Okay, I think we kind of predicted that. But I'll say this. Brands and Spencer Lee were in the building. Not long. But Brand saw me. I did not see him. And you know why? I was conducting an interview. But I did see Spencer. I posted that picture. But I put a lot of bugs and a lot of ears out there to Mr. Brands that I would like to meet him at some point in the future. So, speaking on his culture there. You got to
get it done, man.
One
Especially
thing
after the Brands video.
That, I tell you what else was interesting. The Bo Bassett interview, which is out now. You know who Bo Bassett's role model was?
Who?
Jamie does it. I know that. Spencer Lee.
Wow.
Really?
Spencer Lee. Found that very interesting. Also,
man,
I asked Bo Bassett. By the way, this dude, incredible speaker for his age. Like, he was like better than I was. You know what I mean? It was something else. Like, which let me say something else. You can't just be great at wrestling to be a superstar. You got to be good at other stuff. Maybe why he was a top 5 finalist for that Sports Illustrated Kid of the Year, Athlete of the Year, whatever. But
Zach, it's a meet.
I meet. No, it's I meet.
No, it's a meet.
It's a meet.
No, it's not.
A meet,
Kevin.
like a meet, like nice to meet you. Remember, she
Yeah,
said nice to
I meet.
meet you.
You said e-meet.
I did not say that.
Kevin.
I said I meet. I have trained my brain, folks.
He's just said it wrong again.
After I had to watch that interview with me and saying it wrong continually, I've trained my brain. It's I meet. She said I meet, like nice to meet you. That was her quote.
I don't know. We have the fans saying otherwise. That's all I got to say.
Who is saying otherwise?
Important fans. Top fans.
Folks, open up the phone lines. Phone lines are open. I'm sure no one's calling in at the rate of this episode thus far.
I'll tell you, Zach. Man, I'll tell you what. I didn't really know a whole lot about a lot of the female wrestlers, but they were all really impressive in your interviews and just awesome people. I just think they all were. I'm really looking forward to watching more, female wrestling after those interviews.
I'll tell you, and I was having conversations with people there. Those interviews with those girls, getting to know those girls, literally like makes me. I am so engaged in watching them at the Olympics now, and rooting for them on. I feel like a personal level. I feel like I almost got to know all those women on a personal level, and all incredible individuals with very unique stories. And I mean, a couple I'll say overall interesting takeaway from I Meet's interview. One question. I swear that's right.
Said it wrong again.
No, it's I Meet. I Meet.
Can we just call her Allure?
Let's move on. Okay, I'm just gonna stop saying it. I'm gonna say it.
One last thing without Allure. Why is it that when she said that you didn't pronounce her name right the first time, all I could picture was her just jumping over the table and just freaking hip tossing you or something?
Let me tell you something. My percentage of fear of that happening was not 0. Okay, and I was not gonna last long. All right, but one thing I was gonna say that was interesting. Okay, one question I asked all of them was like, "What would you be satisfied with here at the Olympics?" Miss Elore, her response, like nothing but gold. Like she's got a different mindset, dude. And let me tell you something. She's out there hurting people, dude. She's out there hurting people at practice. Like it was. Whew.
I can't imagine the amount of confidence that builds for a woman. Like just the women in that industry have to have so much confidence. Like it's just incredible. I definitely am interested in watching more because I haven't really dialed into that as much. But
yeah, but you know what was interesting? Like talking to the perseverance that Sarah Hildebrand had to go through, and Kayla Miracle, and it's not that easy. Like it's so much more mental than it is the physical part of it. Go ahead, Kevin.
I thought it was interesting when you asked Allure that if she was going to go to U23s, right? Because, I mean, the past 2 years, everyone knows she's triple gold medaled, at U20s, U23s, and seniors. And that's not something you ever see in guys wrestling, And not only did she say, that she's thinking about doing that, but she's saying that she would have went to U20s, which she could have done if it would have been a little bit farther away from the Olympic trials. I mean, this girl just wants to go out and wrestle and dominate. And people like us, I'd like to think, man, if I was that good, I would just want to win everything, but that's not how it ends up being. But she does. She could win U23s 5 times.
Her resume, I mean, if she wants to, Yeah, and she's out there just to wrestle anywhere and everywhere. Like, just it's impressive, and yeah, and then just even talking to her, like her maturity. I mean, all 20 years old.
Yeah.
Kennedy Blades, 20 years. You know what I was doing at 20 years old? You did not want to put a microphone in front of me at 20 years old. I can tell you that.
Let's ask Jamie.
We're still a little scared putting a microphone in front of you now. Some
You
days.
want to? Yeah, just well,
saying.
Kevin. As far as regarding past stories, Jamie, you know the line over here.
I
want a
do.
job next week, right?
Yeah.
You're getting paid in crackers and water.
That's
just
true.
Kidding. But
True story.
all right, Kevin, go ahead,
Yes.
man. Move on. Let's move on to the next topic.
Hi, Marty.
Oh, we have a call in.
Marty says, I am here.
Oh, Marty.
Marty's
let me,
here, all right.
Okay, let me touch on Marty, man, our Michigan guy, because Mason Paris interview out now, and I asked Mason about Sean Bourmet, and apparently Sean is a pretty nice guy, pretty good guy. So,
Yeah.
which I knew that, but I did ask him about Bourmet. Mason Paris was a very nice guy too, but Bourmet,
Yeah.
and I'm interested to hear what Marty has to say about that Paris interview. But go ahead, Kevin. Sorry.
Zach, that trophy looks a lot better than the one I made, by the way.
Oh man, I still want your one though for this, because this one's going to Bourmet, so I need one for the set. You know
All
what I
right.
mean?
Yeah. Hey, so, a couple things that I wanted to mention. For those of you that are not on the BEG Facebook page, I got to be honest with you, it's one of my favorite pages of any wrestling social media. Everybody's so chill on it. Everybody's free to post things. Nobody's degrading people. Nobody thinks that they know it all. It's just like such a good group of people. I'm shocked, because in wrestling forums, that's just a rarity. And we've been doing a fact a day. It's more
fact a
like
day?
fact a day.
How are
day
those
for,
defined, Kevin?
We do have a caller, Marty, whenever you guys are
Oh,
ready.
yeah.
Marty's in?
Marty, the
Be a
one-man
guy.
party.
Okay, let me see here if I
Let's
can
see
do
if Jamie
this.
remembers how to do this.
Okay, guys, this is it. Hold on. I think I got it. Hey, Marty.
Am I on?
Yes, you're
What's
on.
up?
Hey, Marty, how you doing?
Good to see you guys.
I hope you're working out right
Good
now.
to see you. You know what? I'm up at 4:05 every day, hitting it hard. And
Okay.
No, I really am. But the dogs are going crazy. Anyway, no, I was
That's 'cause they
racing
hear
home
me.
to get home. I'm like, I sat down. I said, "Oh my God, honey, I got to get on. My show's on. You know?
That's what I'm talking about, Marty.
Yeah. Say hi, Louie.
Hi,
What's your favorite
Hi.
wrestling team?
Michigan.
Yep. See, she's a good
A
girl.
Wolverine.
Hey, listen, Bourmet used to tell us all the time. He's like, Paris and Kuhn need some fresh meat. You and your brother need to come up here. I'm like, we ain't going anywhere near those guys. I don't even want to shake their hands. In case
Hey.
Sean tells them to grab us and break us in half. You
Wow. Yeah. You don't want that, Marty.
know?
You
No,
better
no,
be
no.
careful who you're messing with over there, Marty.
Hey, let me tell you another thing. So Michigan might be heavyweight U, okay? Back, I think it's probably 1988 or 87. Their heavyweight, Kirk Trost, won the national championship. I grew up maybe 4 miles from the high school that he graduated from, and he was a big reason why Sean went there.
Okay, sorry. Link is in the comment to call in.
Okay.
Okay, you got to click the description, folks. That's where the link is to call. Is that where you found it, Marty?
If I can figure it out, anybody can.
Yeah. Well, my dad can't because he's typing in the chat. Like, I mean, he's got to be served everything on a platter, a silver
Oh.
platter, dude. It's
Well,
unbelievable.
he's a teamster. You know? He's a teamster.
He's a trucker, man.
The only
He's out there grinding.
union more powerful than that might be the Chicago Teachers Union. You know,
I know.
they elect
nothing.
president. They elect
Oh,
president.
I don't know that. Marty, were you a little nervous when I interviewed Mason Paris? probably,
Oh,
right?
I would have been if it was me, because you never know. He's the Incredible Hulk. He could just snap at any second.
Well, I told him he's a
I
unit.
haven't watched. Is the interview available? I'm sorry. I have been
Yeah,
so
it's
busy.
available, Marty. Yeah, it's online. He's got NFL contacts in his phone.
Yeah, I'll check it out. It's the last day of school today, and I actually gotta
wow.
do my stuff. So,
Like be a parent. Yeah.
no, I'm a teacher.
Oh,
Oh, awesome.
what do you teach?
What do you think? What do you think?
History.
How to be a dog.
English.
History. History. He says history.
Accounting.
Just to be an Ethiop,
I'm gonna say chemistry with those glasses.
Chemistry. Yeah, like Breaking Bad. No. Yeah, you know what? No, I'm not a chemistry teacher, nor am I a history teacher. I'm an English teacher.
I said English.
Wow, Jamie said English.
Yeah, you don't. You know what? You don't get many football wrestling guys that end up to be English teachers, and I kind of ended up being an English teacher by default. I got my
Okay,
undergrad-
Marty, Mr. English teacher, pronounce Amit Allure correctly.
I couldn't hear you.
Pronounce Amit Allure's name correctly.
Who's Amita Lore?
What?
Unbelievable, Marty. Unbelievable. You got to get up to speed with women's wrestling, Marty.
We
You
gotta change
understand
the
that's
subject
exploding.
Yeah, listen, Zach's pronounced the name 4 different ways, and he's still standing that he's saying it correctly.
I gotta see it written. I gotta see it I gotta see it written down.
Okay,
first.
well, her interview is out now also, Marty, so you got a lot to catch up on BEG Wrestling.
All right.
Hey,
Yeah.
Marty.
What's up? What's up?
I thought it was interesting and really true when in the Mason interview, he said, that he really feels like people underestimate him, and I gotta agree with that. I mean, this is a bronze medal. He got a bronze medal at the Worlds last year, and I think that, Gable, it kind of overshadows his talent. And me personally, I'm just all in on Mason Paris. I'm not even going to talk about Gable anymore. I mean, Mason's the one doing all the work. He's the one.
Mason's got a chip on his shoulder.
USA. And what do you think about that? Do you think that people underestimate him?
Oh, you know what? I'll tell you what. It's not too often you get a guy that big that moves like a 25. You know what I'm saying? I mean, watch him change.
Marty, do you understand? He hurdles. He was a 3-sport athlete, and I forget exactly, but dude, he qualified as something in hurdles.
Yeah, he's legit. He's a legit athlete. I remember hearing that it was the hurdles too. But again, when you're thinking about those heavyweights, so that hip flexion is not a natural thing. That's something that they have to develop over time. This kid's just a natural athlete.
Yeah.
He's a nature. It's like I said, you talk about those level changes and you watch the things he does on the mat. He does not move like a heavyweight. And I'm talking about his motion, his stance, his level change. All
he's
the
quick.
little pieces of what he does.
I saw him
but
rolling around with
guy,
Jaden
too.
Cox, and let me tell you something. I verified this is the best version of Mason Paris that we have ever seen. So I feel very confident about, especially after talking to him. Even after the interview. But let me say something. Go ahead, Kevin. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. He pinned Zare too. I mean, that was a while ago. It was at juniors, but even though it was a while ago, that still, no matter what, gives him confidence to know that he pinned this guy. It doesn't matter if it was a while back. It's got to give him confidence. And Zare's the big. He's the head honcho right there at that weight right now. So.
By the way, go ahead, Marty.
Here's the other thing I'm going to say about him, and I think if I think it was 2 years ago he wrestled Cassiope, and Cassiope obviously is no slouch, absolutely no slouch, and he just he was on top of Cassiope and kept turning him.
Yeah,
Paris, I don't think it's enough respect for his top game. He is a beast on top.
Well, one of the questions I asked him, Marty, was I think a lot of people expected Kirk Fleet to win that spot, And the reality is he's beaten Kirk now the last 3 times. And do you have a chip on your shoulder? Like, yeah. And then, like, with the Gable stuff, like, come on, man. He absolutely has a chip on his shoulder. One thing.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, it's hard being, Gable Stevens is an Olympic champion. He was a 3-time NCAA champ. He won his Olympic championship was just beyond. You can't write a better script than that. So, of course, there's a real bright light on Gable Stevenson, and whenever there's a real bright light on something, there's a huge shadow that comes off of that.
Well, we broke down the stats on last week's episode. But, Marty, while I have you here, before we move on, Adam Fellers commented here. And let me read it. Fellers, who's he's on Matt Scouts now, right, Kevin, with Willie?
He's made appearances on Bosch. And
made a lot of appearances. He's a big deal. He's a big deal out there.
He's a good dude. I've watched him on a couple different things. And
good dude.
He's been on Stalemates. He's been on Stalemates several times. Been on Matt Scouts a couple times recently.
I think he's probably more well-known for Stalemates. However, Adam Fellers, Marty, oh my goodness. Women's wrestling, other wrestling podcasts, Marty, we got to get you up to speed, man.
Guys,
anyway.
Listen, there's only BEG.
Okay, we'll take that.
There's you guys, and there's Sways, my guy Sways, who was there.
Sways,
all over the place.
Hey,
and
Sways,
and all the guys, so on the Facebook, the Marine guy and all these. I'm like, I can't wait to see what these guys are saying.
I think talking about Drama King. Yep.
But
that must be the BEG Facebook you're talking about.
Yeah.
But hey, well, I appreciate that. One thing I will say, Sways just put out an interview this week, folks, with Rulon Gardner, which was very interesting. And Sways is out there getting interviews too, man, and I'm going to help promote his material as well. Sways out there grinding. So I appreciate everyone putting out wrestling content, but come on, man, everyone's distracting me. Let me get back to Adam Feller's facts.
All right, let's get to this guy.
Facts here. Viewing the show, great job, guys. Okay, well, that was the comment. However, I got a little bone to pick, fellers. Okay?
Yeah.
Because they brought us up on Matt Scouts. Kevin, did you hear this? Matt Scouts they said the bag guys. Now, come on, man. Bag guys, come on, man. We start the show off by saying BEG Wrestling. We are here. Like, what? Bag.
You don't have the
That's the first joke everyone said, and I said, "Oh yeah, you think I didn't think of that in 2 seconds? Come on, man. Bag."
But Marty, tell him he's needed the periods. He didn't put the periods.
Periods.
No,
Beaver Enterprise
No, these are
Group.
exclamation points. Exclamation points. They're jealous.
I'm just not sure if Fellers was just taking a shot, or if he truly didn't know. I don't know, fellers. If you do want to clarify, call on in, because I do plan on interviewing. I'd love to interview fellers as well, but
you know what?
We can do that in addition to the live call in.
If he's, I would say, oh, I didn't know. That's be like the ultimate insult if he goes, I didn't know. But hopefully he does.
Well, I'll say this. Willie also said, yeah, Willie. I was a little confused because Willie says, yeah, I haven't seen them guys, but they seem to have a lot of fun.
Is that the guy with the chew in his mouth all the time?
How you know we're having a lot of fun? Yeah,
I can't. I'm not even watching. I thought I started listening to people for a little bit, and I click and I move, except for this show.
Well, that's because you're a little worried we might take a shot at you.
Huh?
You're worried I might take a shot at you, which I occasionally do.
But we've had quite an interesting week, and things I probably missed quite a bit. Did we already address the Amin issue?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We made that correction, Marty. On that note, any
issue,
final thoughts out of Marty before we open up the phone lines?
I apologize. I told you as I could.
No, Marty.
When you take a live show, this is one of the risks.
Yeah.
With call-ins.
Well, hey, man, never a risk having you on. Please continue to call in.
Thank you, Marty.
But Marty, thanks for joining us. We'll open up the phone
My pleasure.
lines.
Bye. Bye.
My pleasure. Get everybody. See you later.
Thank you, Marty.
We have EJ says, tell fellers to call in.
Jamie, do you know how to hang up the call? Did you call in? I did tell fellers to call in.
Did you?
Fellers,
Okay.
call on in, man.
I did hang up the call.
Come
What
on,
do you
man.
mean?
We're all relaxed, dude. Did you? I don't know. I'm just asking because you were supposed to be here 30 minutes before you actually arrived, and we did
Listen.
not
Here
get
we
to go
go.
through our training.
Kevin, it's just, he's never going to let it down. At least I'm
No.
not over here mispronouncing names this time. I've avoided all names, so that doesn't happen.
Yeah, that is a smart way to go about it.
Kevin's like, please, Jamie, don't even try.
Jamie, are there any other relevant comments? Because how did you miss the fellers comment, dude? Like,
What do you
we're
mean?
literally going to have a training day. I'm not even joking.
Adam Feller says Maury or Marty.
Marty with
And
a
then
T.
EJ said Marty.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying originally you missed that fellers comment.
Oh, did
And
I?
then you brought up your first comment. You brought up totally broke up the conversation, dude. Get the flow. Like, understand the flow,
Guys,
dude.
We were
Like,
talking about like the Olympics, and she's like, wait a second, so and so
Kevin,
said in youth
Kevin,
wrestling, their
Kevin,
child
we
threw a
don't-
half Nelson. And I'm
yeah,
just messing
what?
with you.
Kevin.
I said include more comments, but I might have forgot the word relevant.
Okay, Kevin, that's enough. I have
I'm
enough.
sorry, Jamie. I don't know you well enough to do that yet, so I apologize.
I do, but
Zach,
Kevin, next topic, man. What do you got?
you know what's kind of interesting is, and I'm sure some people are just totally pissed off about this, but the amount of Americans that we have wrestling in the Olympics, and I'm not talking about wearing the USA singlet, but going through
Good point.
a quarter of the 57 kilogram bracket, a quarter of them are Americans, because you got Spencer Lee, Michik, RBY, and Darian Cruz. So I mean that's pretty crazy. And then you go up to 65 kilograms, and you got Zane Rutherford, Austin Gomez, and Sebastian Rivera. So that's 3 out of 16. As far as I know, Kyle Dake is the lone American at 74. And then 86 kilograms, you got Brooks, Amin, and Ethan Ramos, Puerto Rico. Kyle Snyder, the lone guy at 97. And then at 125, you got Mason Paris and Jonathan Smith from Puerto Rico. So, I mean, that's a decent number of, men's freestyle.
And you bring up an interesting takeaway that I had from this Olympic training week is that Canadian women and women from other countries were actually in-house and training with the American women. However, on the men's side, no dice. No like men's is a whole different ballgame, man. It's strictly American wrestlers only. Whereas on the women's side, it was just a different kind of like, I don't know, culture, but just obviously different, but very interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean, 14 guys. You know, that's enough to make, 2 full lineups worth. It's crazy. It's cool though. You know, I mean, it's some people it ticks off. I get it. But it's a lot of that has to do with our performances at Pan Am's. But man, there's just a lot. I mean, Puerto Rico and Mexico, it seems like more than half their team are Americans, and like I said, I don't blame these people because, sure, I'd love to see them first try and do, make the American team. But listen, who am I to say if they want to shot at going to the Olympics and they can do it and not have to go through the freaking pipeline that they have to go through, in America, going through the open, the trials and all that stuff. Why not? Then you go to some ranking series events like Sebastian Rivera does. You go to these ranking series events, and then you get seeded at these. And the next thing you know, you got a medal. What should they do? Just stay home and not do it?
Just to chime in here, and I know you guys touched on this a little bit last show. EJ says we're starting to get depth like Russia, having lots of Americans wrestling for other countries. And also Drama King is here.
Well, and I hear a call in.
Yep.
Put him in the green room for a second because it brings up an interesting topic that I discussed with several people there, okay? And that would be Greco-Roman. And that would be the fact that and also to touch on back on Swayze's interview with Roland Gardner. And he touches there's challenges like we're missing out on Greco-Roman here in America, and there's opportunity restrictions. Like, for example, like there is no opportunity if you don't make the men's freestyle team to then go try out for the Greco team. That does, like, you can't do that. Like, if you don't make, which makes no sense to me, because to me the goal as an American is to put out the best possible lineup at every position in every sport possible. So why are there restrictions?
Wait, you said that they can't go for the Greco team unless they make the freestyle team. Is that what you said?
No, I'm saying if they try out for the freestyle team, they can't even try out for the Greco team. Like, regardless. So if they try out for the freestyle team and are one spot away, okay,
I see.
And if they then had that opportunity to go and try out for Greco, like, they would be our best available option at Greco. However, they cannot do that, and that makes no sense to me. Did I say that right?
I didn't know that. Kyle Dake was an awesome Greco guy back in the day. But no, you're right. And I'm not gonna necessarily insult the Greco guys and say that the freestyle guys would just take over all their spots. But you have to think logically that they would have a better chance.
No, but it would happen.
Some of them.
That actually would happen, and no disrespect to the current Greco guys, but it would happen because all the best ones are trying out for the freestyle right now. And just the fact that they try out eliminates the opportunity to try out for Greco, which makes no sense to me. But
and real quick, two things that I was listening to. I can't remember who it was, but they were saying how in Greco that you're almost, a lot of these other countries, they don't even do anything else like freestyle or anything. They get so used to not touching the legs that it's like a whole different game to them, you know? And
it is. However, dude, I mean, we've seen like Bo Nickel translate very quickly to like what jiu-jitsu. Like, come on, dude, these are like world-class athletes. They can make the switch.
I don't disagree with you. Yeah, like, I don't disagree with you at all.
Calling America USA Wrestling, we got to change that, dude. There just has to be that opportunity to then try out. It just only makes sense for America to me. Let's put out our best product as Americans, right?
Let me ask you this: if you're like a young guy in high school, like one of my friends, actually, his son is awesome at Greco, right? And he's just graduating this year. Do you say you're not like the top 10 in the class or whatever? Do you start to focus on that more, knowing that, you know what, if I want to make an Olympic team, my shot's a lot better in Greco?
Well, that's a great question. And that's a question that, in my opinion, I would think these kids aren't even weighing, because the fact that Greco is so unpopular right now. Like, I don't even think that's running through their heads, in my opinion. Like, Greco, what? No. Like, dude, if I have a 1% chance of making the freestyle, I'm going for it. One. Much like Greco, we just got to care more about Greco, quite frankly, in my opinion.
Yeah,
let's change the rules to benefit that sport in America, actually. Yeah.
Adam, we just have one person in the green room. So
who we got? Put him in. Sorry.
Right. And it is Wayne. Oh, wait, hold on. Hold on. Just the suspense.
Gosh.
The suspense is Wayne Beaver. Hello.
I was hoping it was fellas.
Hey. I meet a lot of people. What? What? I mean, this poor girl. I hope she's not watching.
Have I lost my mind?
Yes, you've lost your mind. It's a meet.
Right, a meet. It's a meet.
Dude, I'm on my. You know what it's like? It's like when you train a wrestling move for all your life, and then all of a sudden they tell you, no, that's the wrong way to do it. Dude, I can't just change. I'm sorry. I'm trying. A meet. I am trying.
Well, we're keeping our reputation, that's for sure. Jamie, I want you to keep throwing Zach curveballs. If they're talking about red, bring up blue. Whatever you want to do, just put him in an uncomfortable position. I want to see it. I want to watch it. But
She already
Kevin,
did by
I
showing
got a
up
question
late.
for you. Okay, Kev.
Yeah.
You might know. Seriously, I don't know. I see all these projected Iowa lineups coming out. Oh, this should be Iowa's, and I keep seeing Glazier at 97. What's going on with AJ? Will we not see AJ wrestling with a Iowa singlet on? Do you know anything about that? Why is AJ not included when they're speculating about how good Iowa will be?
No one knows, right? Kevin?
I don't know. I think that, he's fallen in that realm of Gable Steveson, where it's just like people are I think they're just so like sick of not knowing or thinking they know. And then it's that they just I think people have kind of just given up on it and only will believe it when they see him with an Iowa singlet on. That's my opinion.
Well,
what do you think, Wayne?
I know for Tuesday night we have our Iowa expert, Terry. He's going to be calling in, and I'm posing these questions to him. But, I mean, my mind starts to then drift a little bit. Okay, I'm reading, or at least over on the Hawkeye Report, everyone seems to just have come to terms that both Anthony and AJ will not be in the lineup. AJ is not doing what was asked or required of him or whatever. He's just being AJ or whatever. My question is, how much does Papa Ferrari drive this train? And could we expect the whole three of them transferring to another school so they all three have a chance to be in the same lineup together if that's not going to happen in Iowa? Now, I'm not trying to pick a scab here. I'm not trying to create something here. It's just where my mind goes.
Wait, did you pose those as questions? Right. And are we going to get answers of those questions from our Iowa insider? Is that what you're alluding to?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Good.
We, I can't
Real
wait to have
answers,
Terry on.
folks.
Yes. And I'm not putting the pressure on in case, Terry, you're watching. Not putting the pressure on, but you got to get it right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what though?
Oh, by the way, honestly, one more thing. I got to go to work. Yeah. One more thing.
You went, dude. Tell us you went for one day, dude. How was your experience? You were like a kid in a candy store, dude. I couldn't. Yeah. Hey, it was, except for I got to. Well, I'll explain more of that on our episode Tuesday. Okay. But I got to say something right now. You know, me and you on our last episode said Amin is staying put. Yeah,
well, I got that garbage information from my president. Zach.
All right.
Zach, you don't.
I'll be the first to admit when I made a mistake. Oh, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. Okay. I'm a one-man show over here, folks. All right.
Kevin, beware, Kevin. He gives out false. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
I cannot wait. Hey, before we let you go. Boy, do we have a story for Wayne to tell, folks, right after meeting Chance Marsteller and his wife.
Oh, boy.
Oh.
Don't tell it now. I want you to save it. He doesn't want to tell it, folks, but I'm going to pry it right out of him.
Jamie, chime in there. As soon as your brother starts to get boring, just talk right over top of him. That's what I do.
I've been trying.
Just keep talking. Love you, Zach. Love you, Kevin. Love you, Jamie.
See
you guys.
Love you, Dad. See ya.
See you, Wayne. Have a good night.
Open up the phone lines. Fellers, where are you? Okay, I'm calling fellers, but all right. Continue, Kevin. Sorry, complete distraction.
Touching base real quick on what your dad said. I think that is the truth, man. I think those three guys are going to the same place no matter what. It seems like they're a package deal, which is so obnoxious because I don't know, man. Like, again, I don't want to.
Blood's thicker than water, Kevin.
I know, but are you going to so the two younger ones have, they're got everything set, and then the eldest does the the soldier salute and with his split, and all of a sudden that kind of dictates where the others two go. You know what I'm saying? Like they should just go where. It's kind of strange, don't you think?
Can we now confirm that the Chael Sanderson AJ call-in was 100% premeditated, not scripted, but
Chael Sonnen?
Yeah. Come on, man. Chael. Yeah, like we know, dude, that was clickbait.
Yeah,
now that was clickbait, dude. Come on, man.
It was
saying the end was beginning and then Penn State. That's not clickbait.
I do have a call.
Yeah.
Mr. Felchers.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Put him in, baby. Put him in. Now, this man is going to bring some energy, folks. And he's going to bring some perspective from other podcasts that we have never had before. Every other podcast hates us. I don't understand it. Fellers, thanks for joining us. Can you explain that? Also, to clarify, we're not begging.
Speak of Chael P, huh?
Is he in, Jamie? Do
Yes.
you know what you're doing?
Yes, he's in.
Okay, he's in. He's
There he
in.
is.
All
Yes,
right.
Yep, he is in.
Can you see me?
I got you.
Yeah,
we got you.
How's
All
it going,
right.
man?
Adam Feller's in the house, folks. He's a Bad Guy Incorporated. We are here.
See
All
that?
right.
That timing?
That's what I'm talking about, man.
What's up?
Tell us what you have to talk about.
Well, you guys just talking about Chael P's call to Ferrari. The
Yeah.
timing of Bad Guy Inc. was good, right?
Oh, that's incredible. Okay, look at this man. He knows what
That
he's
is,
doing. You have obviously had
that is
prior
awesome.
experience on podcasts, man. By the way, was that
What's going on?
you know that was premeditated, not scripted. I won't use the word scripted, but premeditated, right?
I don't think so.
Really?
You don't? You think he called him and he just picked up like that? And
Let me tell you something, fellers. While I have you, I have an interview. All I have to do is edit it with Aaron Brooks, and all I'll say is I end it by saying, Aaron, I have all the respect in the world for you because he said, ask me any question. There was no rules. Literally, let me ask him any question. So I say at the end of this interview, folks, if there was any question I didn't ask, it's on me. It's on me. Could I have that same interview with AJ?
no way.
You have to call his lawyer, I think.
Yeah.
Well, AJ is a brand.
As Iowa alum and fan, I'm just getting sick of the Ferrari talk. It's
Really?
a distraction to say the least.
Okay, so wow.
I don't
so
blame
can
you.
we confirm
Okay,
the
let me
majority
lay-
of
let me-
Iowa?
Let me lay the land for you. Let me lay the land for you, okay? Everybody forgets Oklahoma State. So it was like Oklahoma State fell off a cliff. 2021, St. Louis, Missouri, limited attendance. I was there. No big deal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a little suite up in the corner. I'd come back to the Hawks to get crown champs again. AJ Ferrari wins the NCAA title. Oklahoma State ended up third in the country that year, okay? That postseason, offseason, AJ gets into a wreck. Some other stuff happens. All the turmoil happens in Stillwater. They fall, I think, 10th the next year, and then I don't know what the next two placements were. It was a culture. And they're trying to keep our national champ there and keep things together while probably not keeping other things in line. I think it really screwed up the culture, and I think unfortunately, you're maybe seeing some of the same effects happen in Iowa City.
So you're just to clarify, you mean the culture at Iowa, right?
You probably could see some of the same resemblances of turmoil happening at both programs, with the one consistent happening being the Ferraris.
Yeah,
Well-
I think you're right because it was kind of strange. I don't know what the exact reasons were, but there was a lot of transfers going out or people looking to transfer. You know, when like Voinovich did, and
Chittum.
do you think that was related to the whole Ferrari situation? And I never really heard why the reason was that there was some turmoil there.
No comment. I don't
No
know.
comment.
I don't know. I don't know about that stuff. Like, I'm not going to speculate why. And then look at, speaking of transfers, I talked about this on Willie's show. Is like the Parco one makes no sense for me if I'm Iowa.
Yeah.
Just from my point of view, like you already got Voinovich, you got Ratchie. Ratchie got hurt against Zargo, but Ratchie did have a win over Kasich, right? And you got blocks at 49, not his block. Now you got four guys at 49 is kind of more than a logjam. I know we're not at 9.9 scholarships anymore, so maybe all that's out the window, but I don't know. It didn't make much sense to me.
It's kind of like how many more points is he going to get you at NCAA's than, whoever would have started? And depending on what the payout was, is it really worth that money? Especially when you're not getting them if you're not getting them in the RTC, which I don't know if they are or not, but it doesn't seem like, what you're going to get another 6 points and pay $200,000 or something. I mean, I don't know what the amount is, but I can see what you're saying with that.
That's a Michelob number, by the way. Michelob Mania number, so I don't know if that's accurate or not, but
so it's not accurate.
A lot of these guys are getting. I don't know. I said a long time ago this NIL era. If I was a coach in a program, I would have all these athletes that did NILs. I'd have it be non-disclosure confidentiality agreement because you're going to ultimately recruit against yourself.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, I would put, what I liked? I heard you talking about how more money should be put into the recruits coming in. And I got to agree with you 100% on that. I'm kind of surprised that it's not done that way where you're paying these recruits right away. So they're not looking to transfer or, it just seems like, or they go there and they're like, someone new comes in and they're like, why are they getting money? Why aren't we getting money? It seems like a really strange situation.
EJ Newton has comments. Chittum said he left because of the Ferraris, and it's 100% related. So, I mean, but fellers, what the incoming Iowa recruiting class is not exactly an all-star lineup. What's going on there, man?
They have one, right?
Yeah, they just got Duca or Leo. I don't know if they plan
got Estrada too, I think, maybe, right? They got maybe two of the top 200. Willie's line.
That's strange. I mean, do you think they're just putting it all into banking on getting transfers, or what's your opinion on that?
My opinion would be that they had extremely good luck in the portal the first couple years it existed, and actually the portal before existed. Remember, DeSanto went there, Ironman went there before actually the NIL and actual portal happened. So you had some good transfers. I think that from maybe their point of view, you knew more finished product what you were going to get versus a prospect that could have immediate impact.
Right.
But I think you're seeing the transfer portal diminish in top tier talent. I mean, we had Hendrickson, right, which was by far the top tier. He was the number one get. And if you're going to play in the portal, then they should have made a play for Hendrickson. He's going to be 17 to 21 points probably at the NCAA tournament.
Yeah. Don't you think they did though? I'm sure they probably did.
I agree with you on that. He's good. He's your biggest point getter. He's pinning people.
The Henderson deal was a wrap a long time ago. It was a lot there's pleasantries and all this traveling around and stuff. But Mark Wayne, the senator down there, wrote the letter to the government to get Mason Paris out of the Air Force to relocate to Oklahoma for his last year. He'll be he'll do the guard WCAP in Oklahoma, post collegiate too. So I think once that letter maybe got approved by the government, Congress, whoever approved it, Nancy Pelosi, I'm not sure. He was kind of stuck at that point.
Yeah.
So I don't think that even the numbers even for him 500,000. I wouldn't pay for these guys.
No way.
Yes, but I would not pay. Okay, I was really critical about the Amin pickup and probably still a little bit critical, but then I'm like, let me ask you, let me throw a hypothetical back at you guys. What's the number one thing people talk about college wrestling programs? Are they able to do what to guys? Can they do what?
Make them better.
Can they develop talent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you got Cam Amin coming in. David Taylor's this new staff. Cam Amin's averaging a whopping 3.1 points per match. Had 8 tiebreaker matches last year. You got Cam Amin for 1 year. If all of a sudden they get him to a guy that scores 7, 8, 9, 10 points a year, a match, he becomes more offensive. It's not this wait to the end. They leapfrog everybody else as far as developing talent by a guy that's been in the program this long. I mean, if that's the way they're looking at it, I love it. Otherwise, I hate it.
Yeah.
And EJ says
Yeah.
Fellers is right. They should pay incoming guys that you can get multiple years out of, not just these 1
Yeah.
year left guys.
It's a Band-Aid,
it's
not a
crazy. I
real
agree.
fix.
I agree. It's crazy. You know, you're paying all this for 1 year, and a lot of times it's just like an extra. You know, maybe you're bumping yourself up 6 more points than you would have had with the other starter.
Yeah, but Flo was talking
Right,
about these numbers are overblown, right? That a lot of these numbers we're hearing. Fellers, do you know anything about that?
We don't.
I mean,
500,000. Is
Strauss.
anyone getting $500,000? Seriously?
I mean, I don't know where you're getting ROI on $500,000. And if you're at $500,000, you better be trying to have a chance to win a team title, right?
Yeah.
You think that's what
I
Penn
think,
State wrestlers are getting?
No, I think
Think that's what Carter's getting? He said he's the highest paid, right?
Carter's going to tell everybody that's what he's getting. I mean,
You're
I
probably
think
a
it's
big
different
Carter
at Penn
fan.
State, though. I like Carter.
I think.
I mean,
You know,
have you ever seen a guy scare his opponents into even wanting to wrestle him with a torn out
Yeah.
knee?
Nobody
I mean,
wanted
it was
to shoot
phenomenal.
on him.
Like, it was the most mentally induced torture on opponents. I mean, you got the guy to knock him off the throne, to be the guy to dagger him. And he talked so much trash to these guys. Did they look like they were scared to wrestle him? And he's a hurt guy.
Yeah,
that's
they
true.
just
I
wanted to
would've-
keep it close. It looked like they wanted to keep it close. You know what I think is funny is, you know, over the offseason, they weren't sure if, you know, Starocki was coming back or Bartlett or Kirk, but you got to think that they were just playing the game. They were always coming back. They just, if they say they're coming back,
Listen, you're not playing the game
not
against
getting
Kelsey
money.
Anderson, though.
What's
You're
that?
not gonna put this guy over the barrel. Like if he was gonna get leveraged by his biggest risk is getting held hostage by his own guys. Like more money for those guys are being put into retaining their talent than it is getting talent to transfer.
Yeah.
Like I don't think.
Yeah,
I
but
think
what if that's the only option? Maybe that's the only option. I mean,
for what, Penn State?
Well, I'm saying like paying these transfers on like short 1 year deals. I mean, is that what we're resorting
Okay,
to?
let me do a hypothetical for you. You got a freshman that comes in, okay? He redshirt, his first year is going to compete. Parco comes in, okay? And let's say you pay Parco $200,000. Parco's highest finish, I think, was 4th thus far, maybe 3rd or 4th, something like that.
Yeah, for
Your redshirt freshman comes out and he's national runner-up his first year. Okay? Parco comes in, you gave him $200,000, and let's say he makes round of 12. Okay? The following year, if you're that redshirt freshman, all these kids talk. You know, everybody's gonna be counting each other's money. If the freshman comes to you and says, "Hey, I need $300,000 per year the next 3 years," how do you tell him no?
Well, you bring up a great and interesting point in that, yes, wrestlers do talk. So, and in fact, Vincent Joy says the numbers are real. And yeah, you bring up a great point that if you offer someone and pay a wrestler this, you better expect that you're going to have to pay that to the next one up, right? It's kind of like NFL contracts, the quarterbacks. The next man up is always the highest paid.
You can't get the money unless you ask. And like I said, those 3 guys, I think they were always coming back, but they had to play the game. They had to say, I don't know if I'm coming back, you know, because then they're getting offers. But if they're just assumed to come back, I don't think they're getting the offers. But it's ass backwards. They should be paying their good guys. And like you said, the recruits coming in.
Well, fellas, let me ask you while we have you, because I actually had a deep conversation, one of many deep conversations with Jaden Cox. He said the solution to the NIL is very simple, okay? There's a 1 year suspension on being able to wrestle, but also in being able to be paid. So, yes, you can accept that money, but you're not going to see it for a year if you transfer. What are your thoughts on that?
I guess you're going to go against everything Congress and what's going on the rest of it. Like, you're going to go opposite of what football and everybody else. I mean, listen, we're like not even baggage claim. We're like if you check in for a flight, your luggage may show up in a couple of days. That's where we're at in importance of all this NIL
Well, maybe
stuff
more
going
so
Congress.
as just NCAA NIL whole. You know what I mean?
Did you
Like,
So like other
maybe,
sports,
but
you mean?
So that
I
would
just-
apply to
I
like
just
every
saw the-
NIL transfer.
But I think that's the what's at the heart of everything is that NCAA is benefiting from these athletes. The athletes should mark that. I mean, some of these guys that are post collegiate, they're a little bit hurt. They're a little bit upset that they weren't part of getting the bag along the way too, right? There's a jealous. I'm not saying Jaden, but there's definitely some haters in the wrestling world bagging on some of these kids getting paid.
Oh yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
would say that, but I would also say that from the perspective of like, okay, imagine how difficult that is as a coach. Literally, every single wrestler is a free agent every single year. Can you imagine how difficult as a coach that is? And I mean, really, you can just flip flop every year. Isn't there like a level of like almost like morality or like, man, are you committed here? Responsibility, maybe anything there?
Yeah, but I mean, the coaches leave all the time too. I'd say this: what's the intangible value that you add that's not money to these guys? There's a reason guys haven't left Penn State, and it's you can't put a dollar amount on winning.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's that fear of you've won here. If I go somewhere else, can I replicate what just happened? And no one's chanced it yet, right? I mean, I heard Nagao and Truex came for no money from a very good source.
Came for
no
what?
money.
Really?
Zero money. They came for a scholarship. Zero money. Well, think about it again. If Kale pays Nagao $100,000, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just use that as a number. You got 8 guys on your team that are all going to need $100,000 plus.
Yeah, it's the precedence.
Yeah.
It sets the precedence. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
actually a great. I've never actually thought of it from that angle, though. I mean, that is a great thought and an interesting like perspective, dude. Because you know all these
So
wrestlers.
you have a locker room that has a bunch of individuals. It's not going to be team because they're pissed off. This guy got money. Like that becomes.
Yeah.
I mean, that
becomes
happens in
pro
company.
athlete.
I was in corporate America for 15 years. They say don't tell people your salary. Let me tell you something. Everybody tells everybody their salary, dude. That's how it works. Like you get, and these are kids, dude. You can't tell me they're not sharing how much they're actually making.
That's why they should have confidentiality agreements with these kids, though, right?
They probably do. I mean, because we don't really hear, definite numbers from a lot of these guys, like like the Real Woods and everyone else that's transferred. You never really hear, what, this guy got paid this and we're sure of it. So you got to figure they got.
A guy like Cam and me, like the guys that are coming for 1 year, I'd pay for their school and I'd make their agreement contingent upon performance 100%. If you perform,
Yeah.
you get paid. Now, I don't know if that's legal or not, right? Because go back to corporate America. I was in it for 15, 18 years too. And then, take companies public, all that stuff is, are you more motivated knowing that, hey, your salary's X, your bonus is 10%, or your salary is X and your bonus is uncapped?
100%.
Oh yeah, like sales.
Just as human beings, your motivation is going to be a lot more knowing that you're chasing something to get delivered versus you're fat and happy just saying, okay, you're getting all the money up front regardless of your outcome is. That doesn't make much sense.
And I think that has a lot to do with
the
a lot
whole
of these,
wrestling world doesn't have much business
transfers.
into it either, though.
I think that has a lot to do with some of these transfers, in their sixth or seventh year. We're not seeing them necessarily perform at their best because maybe it is because it's not incentive for performance. And they, first of all, some of them are burned out. And then next thing you know, they got their money and, it's like they worked for the money before they got there. And it's just, they're not really incentivized. So yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any direct answer, but I think that it's got to go somewhere.
I wouldn't pay for my transfer portal targets would not be from 165 to 125. Any significant amount because the odds, those weights are so deep. Okay, there was, even though Levi Haynes won the national title this year, there's literally 12 to 15 guys that probably could have won the national title if you rerun that tournament. I'm not saying Levi. You go to 125. You saw that Richie Figs at one point was 500 this year, right? He wins the national title. So your odds of delivering to what you want for your investment are a lot lower. You go to the bigger weights. I mean, was there 15 guys that could win heavyweight this year? No, there's 3 or 4, right? 184 is the most true to seed weight the last 25 years in the NCAA. So the guy goes in seeded second, the odds that he's going to be within second is pretty high. Like
Well, that brings up.
there's a variability rate.
Yeah, I agree with that, and that reminds me, it makes me think of like almost the recruiting range disparity. Kale is a heavier weight, and almost seems like he naturally recruits. He targets almost heavier weights as opposed to like Tom Brands is the lighter weight. He traditionally gets all those lighter weights. However, there is way more parity at the lighter weights. Maybe I'd like to hear, fellers, your thoughts on Tom Brands, and is that his recruiting approach, and maybe is that the difference? I don't know.
Well, I mean, the difference is Penn State, like, to get a lifetime 125 pounder is hard to start with. Most kids come in, they usually always end up a weight higher than they thought. Right? Penn State has averaged the last 4 years have averaged a total of 1 point at the national tournament at the weight 125.
Yeah, it's crazy.
55% of their national team points come from 174 to heavyweight. Iowa has a lot of resources, and when I mean resources, I mean probably human element resources invested in those lower weights. You kind of look at the guys that have stayed in the attrition, like training partners. Yeah. But my personal opinion is that David said one of their biggest foundation things is going to be the RTC, and you got to be funded. You got to have resources. You got to have donors. Facilities is way over stated. Yeah. I'm going to post there's actually a study done by the McKinsey group, which is a big consulting group. They did a study that less than 1% of the recruiting impacted to facilities. And I'll post that on Twitter. And the biggest thing is your RTC. Like, if you guys got guys coming in and within their first year, they're already the best guy in the room, their level that they're going to reach is not, they're not going to, I mean, David talked about it. They had, he's got 8-10 workout partners that were tougher than his world championships every week. So, like, the guy in the room, having to earn it in the room is huge. Like, you can't walk in 12 months in and you're the guy.
Yeah, a lot of the young recruits are coming in. They're seeing an RTC, and they got all these, Olympians and whatnot there. That's definitely going to incentivize them. But I know what you mean about the heavier weights, because 285 even, like, you're seeing teams that are struggling right now to fill that spot. I mean, even Penn State, right? If Kirk would have went, what was their plan at 285? I mean, I guess Maristola, but he's not ready really yet. He's so light. But you're seeing that it's like, man, you got to grab those guys.
Which brings up an interesting angle that I don't know if I've heard anyone talk about, the recruiting angle, and the fact that David Taylor is also about the same weight as Kale. So he, from a recruiting aspect, is going to be targeting, and maybe the first ever competition that Kale Sanderson has for someone that's relevant in today's age at the same weight, recruiting those weights. I don't know.
I mean, Hendrickson's going to be huge. I mean, they scored, I think they've averaged like 3.5 points at Oklahoma State, that being 3% of their total points in the national tournament last 4 years heavyweight. So that's a huge, Henderson's going to be a big number for them. Now they're trying to replace losing Dayton Fix, which was,
but Hendrickson, he is a bonus point guy, and I guess. Go ahead, Kevin.
Another real big, pickup. Obviously I'm a Cornell fan, but Cardenas to Michigan. Michigan, they didn't score any points at 197 the past couple of years, and it looked like they weren't going to get any this coming year either, really. And now all of a sudden they get a guy that scored 16 points last year. I mean, that's a massive upgrade going from, probably looking at nothing to 16 points. And it's because it's the heavier weight.
And they picked up that big heavyweight recruit from Arizona State to Michigan, too. You see him flip?
Yep. Yeah, that was huge, actually. Yeah, that's
Wayne Beaver says multiple sources claimed Alirez was offered $500,000 from both Iowa and Oklahoma State. Wow.
So do you think Northern Colorado paid that or somewhat near that?
Listen,
I have to believe.
Troy's okay. So let me go the other angle of this. You're a coach, okay? You know how much time you're putting in, right? David's going to be without a doubt when it becomes public. It might not be on public paper, but David's going to be day one, the highest paid coach in college wrestling. Okay.
Yeah.
But Troy Nickerson is probably out in northern Colorado. He's probably making maybe $125 a year, just how their program's funded. And you're going to pay a guy that's wrestling for you 4x for 1 year to keep him?
You could definitely make the argument that's a bad business decision. I mean, I would make that case.
You got to figure the coach isn't going to really want to push for that, you know. Or
why
but then again,
okay, well, if you didn't take the money, then why did you go in the portal in the first place, guys? I think it's because Nickerson applied for the Buffalo job. I don't have any facts on that, but if you're saying all this money came from the top programs and he didn't take it, he stayed in North Carolina, why did he go in the portal to start with? I don't know.
Well, I don't know if it was the Buffalo job or not. I mean, because you'd think if he applied for it, he would have gotten it. But I do agree. When I saw his name in the portal, it's the only thing I could think of was, you know what, Troy's got to be leaving, because why else would he be going? I mean, especially the amount of time and effort Troy's put into him, and then right after the Olympic trials, you're jet. That was my first thought. I thought the same thing. Coach has got to be leaving. Why else would he go in the portal?
And Wayne Beaver says, I agree, but he was guaranteed a coaching position if he stayed, so they stay.
Aliris?
Ooh, maybe that was part of the deal. Aliris. I was going to say, I would doubt that they came up with $500,000, but maybe they just added other incentives.
He's young, though. I mean, do you think he's even thinking about coaching? Like, he's so young as far as he's got a long career in front of him, you know?
Let me ask you guys this. What do you think? You throw a name out there that's not one of your top tier coaches. What do you think? Guess their pay, and I'll tell you if you're close or not. We'll get to a Felter's facts real quick.
Guess their pay. Okay.
Gray.
I don't have his. How about Sean Bourmet? Want to know what Sean Bourmet's?
500,000.
Not even.
Say like
sniffing.
350.
I'm gonna blow your mind right now.
300.
175.
What?
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, that's
175. Now that doesn't mean he's not getting some from Cliff Keen, right? But his last contract is just going to expire here in June. So these guys get coaching jobs. I mean, what do you think these coaches are making?
Yeah, I mean, it might take them 3 years to come up with just one big payment. I mean, a lot of their bonuses and stuff, but still, it's still not remote.
175 base. What I'm saying is like, okay, he gets a coaching job. He's not making $200,000 a year to coach.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Man. I mean, especially when you parallel that to other like college football coaches, but
oh yeah.
I mean, how much?
I'll say this. Hey, Mr. Bourmet, if you need to, you can pawn this. This thing is pretty valuable, dude. I'm just kidding. You are not allowed to do that, but let's pay that man more.
That's on the record. That's not saying he's not getting funded from Cliff Keen, or like when David and the assistant coaches come out. There's going to be so much through contract through the state and university, but there's probably some on the Paycom side too.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably going to be getting $1 million, and you got to figure Kale's got to be getting. That was the Ivy League troll question. Oh, he's probably getting $1 million. Hold on, I'm going to jump back and say, oh, actually, he's getting 1.2. No.
Hey, any other coaches? Let's hear some other coaches' salaries while you're bringing them off.
Go ahead, shoot.
Tom Brands. I think Tom's
his is
500.
public. His is public. I think it's $650.
Yeah, it's going to be like, and it goes up $75,000 a year, so it's going to be like $825 on the last year of his contract.
Tom Ryan.
Hold on. That's Tom Ryan. Tom Ryan or Tom Crying? Hold on.
Tom Crying. Well, no, I'm talking about
looks like he's getting healthy.
Integrity Farms. How about Little Rock coach there? What's Little Rock's coach getting, like $60,000-$70,000?
EJ says, I think. Sorry.
He's awesome.
Go ahead.
EJ says, I think he just wanted to see what he'd get, and the real numbers aren't anywhere near what is reported, so he stayed.
So, Let's see here.
Oh, so he's saying it's inflated.
Correct.
Wayne said
Add
multiple
context,
sources.
Jamie.
Talking about Alirez.
Yeah, Jamie.
Yeah.
Elaborate
So Tom
on
Ryan,
that.
Tom Ryan's getting $406,000. And
wow, I thought it was 500, but it goes up every year.
that's as of 2023, and Kevin Dresser's getting 325 of 2023.
Is that from the internet chat board?
This is
Yes.
from.
Is that your chat board? Fellers, did you know our name better? Or were you trolling us saying beg boys?
Yeah, this is. Is there any?
You were trolling us, weren't you?
Listen, I commented. I sent you guys a DM. Said you're doing a great job. I mean, you guys are putting a ton of content out there.
No, I did, man.
I'm not part of the hater crew, man.
Okay. Hey, even if you were, I didn't care if you were. I thought, hey, this man taking a jab at us. I appreciate it, but hey, okay.
No.
Well, just to clarify, it is
I don't.
BEG. What? Yeah, we get a lot of beg jokes. We're the
Listen,
beggars.
If I was gonna take a shot at you, I'll
You would
no-
take it
no
straight up.
username needed.
You walk right in front of my
Always.
face and you would take it, baby. Yeah, I believe that. I believe
Always.
that.
Always.
All right, boy, I'm.
So let me ask you one last question.
Okay.
What do you think? Give me your top 4 finishers next year in NCAA.
Like
Team
team-wise.
wise?
Well, Penn State.
Yeah, I'd say Penn State, Iowa.
Iowa. No, I'm going Penn State,
Then I'd
Oklahoma
say-
State, Iowa. Go ahead,
I'd say-
Kevin.
I'd
What
say
about-
Penn
so everybody's
State,
forgetting kind of about
Iowa,
Ohio State
Penn
here.
State, Iowa, Oklahoma State, Ohio State.
Ooh, I like that.
Penn State,
Flo
Iowa,
broke down
Oklahoma State,
Iowa's
Ohio
getting
State.
second, right? Flo broke down Iowa's getting second this week, I believe.
Listen, I'm Iowa too. It's like, I mean, there's a lot of hope. I mean, there's a lot of conclusions built in that number. I think.
Like
Yeah.
assumptions.
Like,
Yeah.
like how do
in
you
that
how do you
number.
get to second?
Well,
Well,
Like if
Yeah,
you're
there's
going
many,
3-3
many
instead of
paths.
5, does that
Figure
change things?
AL's got to win. You know, he's got to win it if that's even a possibility.
But what if he
or
goes
at
20?
very
What if
least
he
the
goes
finalist.
33?
Yeah, who is at 33?
No, what if Iowa goes 33?
Oh, what if Ayala goes 33? You think that's a possibility, or are you just hypothetical?
Just asking. I'm just throwing it out there. Does Iowa's chances?
I got
go
an
from
idea.
there?
We'll
They
break
don't
this
think
down.
Creek-
So you're telling fellas, you're basically saying, I got to get your final thoughts. We're running a little long here, but
right, go ahead. Sorry.
you're basically
I'll go.
saying Iowa second might be a little unrealistic.
I'm saying Penn State's a lock for first.
Yeah,
Second through fifth. Remember, teams are always one injury away from losing a trophy, right? Or one guy that. I mean, if I told you guys that Younger Bastida didn't DNP this year, you guys would say I'm crazy, right?
Correct.
yeah. I mean,
So
two. Look at.
I think
mean,
it's gonna be a great race second through fifth.
Absolutely.
And hopefully it's a less than 100 points between
Yeah,
first
that's
place and
embarrassing.
second place this time.
That's embarrassing. I mean, the fact that Cornell got with 3 All-Americans got second place. 3 All-Americans. That's crazy.
I've been trying to tell these people this. You don't need dual teams. Everybody's like, oh, duels. You just need guys that are gonna finish. You can put together a good dual team that's not a top 10 tournament team. It's just different.
Yeah, it's big time, and it's so important, those backside points. I mean, look, Shapiro outscored every single runner-up, and he actually outscored one of the finalists just by getting third. And it's so important getting those backside points. I mean, you get those really matter. But you're right, duels don't matter really. You know, I hate to say it,
Here's
but
the last thing I'll leave you with, Kevin. And
Wrap
thanks
us up,
for- thank you guys
fellas.
for having me on.
Go ahead.
If you're going back to recruiting, ultimately you can't win a team title unless you have guys placed in the top 4, period. So these guys that are, unfortunately, it's hard as hell to be an All-American NCAA tournament. Like, 7th, 8th, 5th, 6th, it doesn't matter. Like that's a huge achievement. Like, but to win team titles, 10 of those don't matter. You gotta have guys that are top 4. And when you're putting 4 to 6 in the finals like Penn State has, I mean, they could win it with 4 guys. Iowa, when they won in 21, they had 4 guys in the finals, right?
Yeah.
Only won 1, but they had 4 in the finals. It's like that's where everybody's trying to get to, and you got to have enough shells in the gun to be top 3. Not hypothetical, wishful thinking. Guys that are getting pretty close to locks, and that's why recruiting the bigger guys is more important.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, fellers, listen, man, what a pleasure having you call in. We greatly appreciate it. I hope we hear from you again. And I'll leave you with, can you tell Willie that we love him? And just his BEG, not bag boys. You know what I mean? But
well, it depends if you were talking to Willie or Budweiser Willie when he was typing that. So
Budweiser
okay. Well, tell both Willies for us. But
all right, buddy.
Fellers, appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
How about that? Representing Iowa, baby. Appreciate it. Fellers, listen.
Real quick, Dad says, Wayne says, I want to hear Jamie sing. Zach and I right now are creating a whole theme song at the beginning, so we'll have that next episode. Okay,
actually a music video on that note. But Kevin, I want to get to some things before we wrap this up that maybe you did not get a chance to because this happens every week. But mainly, folks, coming out. Starting this season, the BEG rankings ran by yours truly, Kevin, expand on this and how it is just a fact that our rankings will be better, simply better than every other rankings out there. Explain why.
We got rankings coming out, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to do
weekly.
We're going to do, the preseason initially for the college, but we're going to do, where we think everyone's going to fall in, what's the final results going to be. So some stuff might look a little goofy at first, but it's just what, that's what we're thinking. We're also going to be doing some recruiting rankings, and we're going to be doing some international rankings for the Olympic weights and the non-Olympic weights. And, if anything, it's going to bring up discussions, debates, and that's what we're all about, is getting people talking about wrestling. And, we're going to take a crack at it and let us know how we do.
What did you say was getting goofy?
No, I'm saying goofy. No, it can be.
Our rankings are far from goofy, folks.
No,
because they're going to be factual.
We're gonna
don't discredit yourself, Kevin.
We're going to predict where people are going to end up at the 2025 NCAAs. That's going to be our college rankings. So you're going to, obviously we don't know where certain people are going to lie in, but we're going to take a crack at it and figure out where we think they're going to fall in, what weights people are going, and we're going to adjust that every few weeks and have some fun with it.
Yes, and you're going to be in charge, and we're going to track these to show the data that we are actually more accurate. So
yes, it's important.
Kevin,
important to be accountable.
Yeah, we're going to hold ourselves accountable. One, I'm going to just throw it to you. You can take it or not, man, because I know that we talked about, folks, and maybe we save this for next week. We're going to start doing a team weekly focus. I know you were prepared to do the Virginia Tech team breakdown, recruiting, and transfers, all entailed. Do you want to touch on that before I just I start getting a little totally go off the rails?
Let's start that next week so we can spend the proper time on it if that's good with you, And what it's going to be is we're going to focus on a team a week, all right? And Virginia Tech's going to be our first, we just kind of randomly picked it.
Yep.
We're going to talk
during the off season, we're going to break down, focus, give a team spotlight focus a week. Progress, transfers, recruiting, coaching, everything. All entailed.
Right on.
And, just a team spotlight because this is the time of year to do it.
Absolutely. And it gives everybody fans engagement, different, because everybody likes to hear about their team, So we want to spread the wealth around. And like Zach said, get the who left in the portal, who came in the portal, what are their recruits for the next couple of years, where are they going, what are they doing good in. And, I think it'll be fun. So we'll start that next week with Virginia Tech week 1.
Okay, I agree. Now, starting right now, I'm going to kind of not be so serious because this is live. But the reality is, folks, I kind of go into like show mode. But I know there's a lot of people out there who absolutely love me and adore me, like Tim, who tells me every single thing I did wrong every single week on every episode, who loves me. Tim, yeah, I know you're watching right now, Tim. And I know he probably thinks I walk around yelling all the time, right? Like Kelly, my girlfriend, would tolerate that. You got to be kidding me, right? But no, let's get a little. So, Jamie, I want a little feedback from you, but I want to touch base on. I have some of these Olympic interviews, and folks. I didn't want to take a lot of digs at Flo, but I do want to reiterate for like maybe the only second time, exclusive invitation to this. BEG was the only media in America at this event for 4 days, folks. I'm not joking. I mean, and first of all, just to kind of talk through, because, I'm going to get a little, this was an incredible experience for me that was kind of brought upon me, like, all of a sudden. And so, similar to an Olympic wrestler that's going over in Paris, dude. I parallel because my experience, I parallel that to what these wrestlers are getting ready to experience out in Paris, okay? I had no idea what to expect, up to the point where I show up Monday, and thank goodness I brought any and all my camera equipment, because I showed up Monday morning and didn't even have an idea that I was going to be able to get an interview, a single one, much less multiple. I had no idea what I was walking into, and so thankfully I came prepared, because that's what you do when you go to Wrestle Olympics in Paris. You just go prepared for anything and everything, okay? I go prepared. Boom. One thing happens, dude. I start rocking out interviews. Next thing you know, I'm 4 days there, and get to the point. So on the final day, Thursday, the simulation match day. So they do everything that you can imagine to simulate the experience that they are going to have in Paris later this year. Olympic final. They have Jason Bryant announcing, okay,
Who's
which, by
in
the
the
way,
chat right now?
What? Jamie?
Jason Bryant's in the chat.
Jason Bryant's in the chat. Okay.
Yes.
Watch his interview coming up, folks. Which, dude, we're going to have to do a follow-up with Jason Bryant. However, Jason Bryant in the building as the announcer. They also have a French announcer, okay? They have walkouts. I mean, everything imaginable simulated up to the point that they had an absolute lunatic on the sidelines to ask them questions immediately after they walk off the mat, and that was me. And that was, I don't know how in the world, in a million years, I wound up here, folks. But let me tell you something, man. I took full advantage. I mean, I do have regrets. Like, Tom walked by. The only opportunity I really had to introduce myself to Tom Brands, I was in the middle of an interview. I never actually saw him. I didn't get a Spencer interview along with Kyle Dake. But let me tell you what you do have to look forward to, because I have not really expanded on a lot of these. But Jaden Cox, folks, one of the most thoughtful, intricate people. And he actually has a podcast coming out, Breaking Barriers. So I did my interview with Jaden, and then I stopped recording, and then we talked for another 45 minutes, and the stories were so much better. I said, Jaden, dude, and by the way, the single story that I think was the most incredible or most mind-blowing story that I've heard from a wrestler, I asked him to sit back down so I could record it. He's saving it for his podcast, Breaking Barriers. Not sure when it's coming out, but I told, and Jaden, if you're watching, man, I got your number. I'll text you. Jaden, folks, Kevin, you'll appreciate that. I guess I could call Jaden my guy. Isn't that what they do on wrestling podcasts? He's my guy. I got Jaden my guy now, dude. Hey, shot at Boshamania. Oh, my goodness, dude. Someone had to take a shot at that. But anyway, listen. Jaden Cox, stand-up guy, dude, incredible. I cannot wait for his podcast to come out because he's going to tell his story on his podcast. But moving on from that, I have Aaron Brooks, folks. Aaron Brooks, no rules. No rules. In fact, I asked Aaron Brooks point blank, if you call David Taylor on the phone right now, will he answer? I can't give you that answer until you watch the interview, folks. But he does give you the answer. Jason Bryant, incredible. We're going to have to do a follow-up. I have Skylar Grote, okay? Now, she's not on the Olympic team starting. Skylar Grote, though, has some fascinating thoughts on women's wrestling and maybe why or maybe some challenges that women face in wrestling that we don't see as men. You know, we're like so hard-headed over here as men. That's why I brought Jamie on the show to bring some balance.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I got to get you up to speed, dude, because, you know, you're not confident enough over there to actually chime in and actually put me in my place yet.
Apparently, every time I chime in, it's unrelated. So I'm learning.
Jamie, you're doing awesome.
That was
And-
one
Thanks,
time.
Kevin.
But
And Zach, your interviews were just awesome, man. You did a great job. I was so
many
impressed.
more coming. Just one final. I'm sorry. Clash Combat guys coming out. Mike Machiavello. Okay, and it's someone that you think, what? That might not be. That might have been the most interesting one, folks. His story is incredible.
Absolutely.
And then, just finally, I have post-match presser simulation interviews, dude. Like, they're out of breath. Like, this is like a difficult situation. I can't wait, dude. And I actually need to get back to work, and we are just running long, dude. Any final thoughts to Kevin? And then Jamie, after Kevin's final thoughts, I'll throw it to you to read maybe any final comments that you have just lacked on reading up to this point.
It's not true.
Final thoughts. Thanks for tuning in. Give us a call next week. We appreciate it. We just want to talk about wrestling. You know, that's what we're here to do. So if you're
This
in
is
the comments,
a round table discussion. Yeah. Different vibe.
Yeah, nothing to lose. And thanks for supporting the channel. We appreciate it. And check out the Facebook page.
Check out
these interviews Zach did because they're awesome.
Listen, we're on Instagram now, and it's pathetic. I have like 12 followers, dude. It's pathetic.
I think you're up to 14.
Part of my interview with Clash, they say, dude, you got to get a TikTok. And I was like, wait. I guess I got it.
There's so many.
I guess I got it. I said, wait, is it Chinese will know what I'm doing then, though, right? Like, it don't matter. We got to get on TikTok, dude. We need a manager.
Buying on
Jamie,
DG.
we got to get you up to speed as a producer, maybe as a manager as well in the future. I don't know.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Listen,
you're bringing some
I'm
incredible perspective over there.
I've learned more in these 2 episodes than I think I did throughout my whole high school experience.
Okay, well, you watch Corey win a state championship, and you live in the same house.
I am very knowledgeable about the actual sport. I just am not so knowledgeable about the different teams and the actual wrestlers. So I'm getting up to speed.
Jason Bryan just got back from the Garfield movie with the kids. Jason Bryan. Let me tell you something about Jason Bryan, folks. And I tell him this, and you'll hear this on the interview. You just naturally think he's just, this dude must be like, he walks by, Mr. Bryant, pleasure to meet you, sir. Yeah, that ain't Jason. And you think that because his voice is so professional. But
he
ain't like that at all. And I asked him how he got his voice to be so good, too. So, seriously. And I got some more. I got to make some tweaks over here. I'll say that.
He's awesome. He's awesome. He's always got time to answer questions, too. You know,
Jason
whenever I ask him
Bryant,
something, he always puts in the time to answer it, which I appreciate.
Yeah. I don't know, man. We got Jamie. Any final comments?
Nope. We have a lot of people saying, "Great episode. Keep up the good work."
Interviews coming out. What?
We have Cole said, "Is that cocaine in the trophy?" Because it's a little odd looking in the.
Hold
it
up
is not.
before we
Just to clarify.
That's a hell of a bag you got there.
No, it's even better than cocaine. Are you serious? It's PEG underwear, folks. And you can buy yours now on our BEG Sports Store. Go to Shopify now. The link is in the description to the store. Get my face on your balls. Is there anything better than me and my dad's face just imitating your balls?
Oh, my.
Not that I can think of.
What a way to
All right, folks, that's a wrap. Until interviews coming out this week. Jamie, just hit close it out, dude. I'm so tired.
See you
My throat
guys.
hurts, dude.
And I know where the button is. See you, Kevin.
You might have to hit it twice.
Bye. Thanks a lot.
Make
Bye,
sure
Jamie.
that thing ends.
Bye,
See ya.
Zach.
Bye bye.